Okay, volume of prisms and cylinders. First we must define a few things. First being what a polyhedron is. It's a solid that is bounded by polygons. Faces are each of the flat spots. Prisms and pyramids are called polyhedra, and cylinders and spheres are not. So we need to think of a polyhedron as all flat faces. So anything cylinder or circular would not be considered a polyhedron. An edge is a line segment formed by the intersection of two faces. So if I go down to this first prism, an edge would be any of these line segments. Vertex is where a point, three or more edges meet. So for instance, in this prism, vertex would be any of these 4 points. And the volume is the number of cubic units. So think of if you were to fill the prism or fill the cylinder, that is volume. So the first thing we're going to do is a prism. It has two congruent parallel bases, and it's named by its shape. So this first one has rectangular bases, so this would be a rectangular prism. Cylinder is not a polyhedron, and it's because it has two circular congruent parallel bases. Okay, then each of our formulas are here. Volume of a prism is the area of the base times its height. Cylinder is still going to be area of its base, but its base is a circle, so it's going to be pi r squared times its height. So let's do a few examples. Volume of the prism or the cylinder round to 2 decimal places. So first thing I'm going to do is write down the formula. Its base, I'm going to use this as its base. So B is going to equal 7 times 3. It's a rectangle. So volume would be 21 times the height of 5. So it would equal 105 meters cubed. Always cubic units. So multiplying three things together. Next one, still volume base or area of the base times its height. This, because its base is a triangle, would be a triangular prism. So here is its base. So B, area of triangle, is 1/2 base times the height. So the volume would be 20 times 2. The distance between the two bases is its height. to 40 centimeters cubed. I'm not doing regular polygons. So a cylinder. Cylinder is pi r squared h because its base is a circle. So 3.14. The radius, make sure you have radius, that's important. So if you're given the diameter, you must find the radius. Times the height. Multiplying that out, we get 4g2.2, and again, cubic meters. So in this next cylinder, we see that we're given the diameter. So the radius is going to equal the diameter divided by 2. So we use 3.14, 11 squared, and the height, or the distance between the two circles, 16. 6079.0 units feet cubed. What if we're given volume and we want to try to find one of the missing lengths? So you still use your volume formula. Okay, volume equals area of the base, which I don't have, times its height. So B is going to equal 180. But B is length times width, or base times height. So 180 equals 15x. So x equals 12, and these are going to be linear units. Can do the same thing with our triangle, but this time I have the hypotenuse. So I need to find the other measurement from the right triangle. So I'm going to call it y. And y is going to equal the square root of square of the hypotenuse minus the square of the leg. So that I can put in my formula. Remember, for a triangle, I need that 1/2. $15 is the one leg, 8 is the other, and I'm trying to find the height. And we divide by 60, so you'll get 6 feet. Cylinder, volume is pi r squared h. Volume is 72 pi, so I'm not using 3.14 in this case. The height is 2. So the pi's will cancel out. 72 divided by 2 is 36. And to undo something being squared, take the square root. So the radius equals 6 linear units centimeters. And a nice application is when we have these things called composite solids, where you're trying to find just the volume of, possibly in this case it would be like the border. This is a rectangular prism that the inside, this little inside, is voided. It's blank. Okay, so we have to find the volume of the outside and the volume of the inside and subtract them. So the volume of the outside is going to be area of the base times the height. Well, the base is going to be 4 times 5, and the height is 6. And the inside, area of the base times the height. The inside, the base is 4 times 3, and the height is the same. And remember that we're going to subtract those two numbers. When you subtract 48 in the units, cubic millimeters. Please make sure as you're doing the assignment, if you have any questions about volume of prisms and cylinders, that you ask questions.